Hi, this is Defunct City, and today we have the tragic story of Milena Sheveleva, a tragedy shocking the city of Bratsk. In June 2018, the city was shaken by terrible news. 9-year-old Milena Sheveleva, whom law enforcement and volunteers searched for almost 2 weeks, were finished. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We keep going. Milena disappeared on the evening of June 9th. Going out until 9 p.m. on warm summer days was the norm for the girl, says Milena Sheveleva, the girl's mother. Her daughter was not a homebody. When the weather was nice, she spent time outdoors with her friends and did not stray far from them. There was a strict parental prohibition on it, but she often dropped in on her mother at work, who worked as a sales clerk not far from the house. "I'll give her a chocolate bar or something else. Maybe some juice or lemonade to drink with the girls," Milena Sheveleva recalls. She was always allowed to go out until 9 p.m. In that day she came to my store around 9 o'clock just as it was starting to rain. All her friends had left. I said, "Milena, go home. Daddy's home." She always obeyed. When I saw her off, I was standing on the porch, and I saw that she had gone toward the house. But I think she's about to run home. At about 10 o'clock p.m. the woman was alarmed by a phone call. Milena's father called from the house. The girl never came home. At first Milena thought what he said was a stupid joke, but the father was serious. Her daughter was not at home. Milena's mother sent her husband and eldest daughter to look for the girl in the neighborhood yards. She might have lost her keys or stayed with friends. Consoled herself, alarmed mother to misfortune. Milena's cell phone was under repair at the time. "I called everyone I knew that night," says Milena Sheveleva. "I was working in the store till morning. Everyone I called said they hadn't seen her. No. Usually, even if she's been staying with someone, they already call. They tell me they have Milena, but not here. Somehow I got through the morning. And in the morning straight from work we went to the police." The underage Milena Sheveleva was immediately put on the wanted list. News of the missing child spread through social networks all over the city within hours. On the same day, the child was searched for not only by law enforcement officers, but also by dozens of volunteers. The search yielded no results on the first, second, or third day. The indifferent residents of Bratsk and the police searched literally every square inch. The search for the child became top local news for almost 2 weeks. During this time, more than 100 yards were searched. 300 wells of abandoned buildings and basements were inspected, and 1,000 people were questioned. Simultaneously with this, experts were working with information from surveillance cameras near the Park of Metallurgists and Telus Center. That's where the girl was last seen. All in all, 600 hours of video recordings were made. The drivers of cars caught in the field of view of cameras were worked on. About 200 persons previously convicted and registered by the police were actively checked. On the trail of the man suspected of involvement in the disappearance of the child, the investigators came 11 days after the start of the search on June 20th. The suspect turned out to be a 43-year-old man who was engaged in a private carriage service. On the day of the detention, the suspect confessed and indicated the place in the forest belt where Milena Sheveleva's body was hidden. A criminal case was opened against the man under the article murder combined with violent acts of a sexual nature. But how and why, on the evening of the 9th of June, Milena, instead of her home, was in a stranger's car, is still unknown. Even the child's mother, Milena Sheveleva, is sure that the use of force by an adult man was not involved. It turns out she didn't run home, but to the metallurgist's park in the direction of the pharmacy on Angelia Street. He's a man, sort of stopped and asked Milena, "Where you're running to?" That's what he says. "I always warned my children not to talk to anyone, not to take anything from anyone, especially not to get into the car with strangers," Milena Sheveleva says. "There are no people there behind the pharmacy. They can be dragged into the car. Would there be anyone? Milena wouldn't go to a stranger. It can't be." Milena's mother only saw the man who confessed to murdering her daughter once, in court, when her custody was being extended. She says she knows from the words of law enforcement officers that the arrested man has children, and as a mother she cannot understand what could make a man take someone else's child's life. Valentina Shakirova is sure that, if proven guilty in court, he does not deserve any leniency. Death penalty. That's what I think the same thing deserves here. If you have killed, then you have no right to live, says Valentina Shakirova. Valentina Shakirova brought a small package to the meeting with journalists. In it there were a few toys and a photo of her daughter. Together with Alina in a coffin was placed her favorite, a plush kitten. Her daughter liked to fall asleep with these soft toys, the green parrot and the dragon, says the girl's mother. And these pony figurines from the famous cartoon series she collected. In general, lived the life of an ordinary child, was interested in the same things that all girls her age. And yet, as any child for any mother, for Valentina her daughter will always remain special. There is no child like her anymore, Valentina Shakirova says, stifling tears. She laughed all the time. I say show me your finger, you laugh, and that's it. If my eldest daughter sits in a bad mood, Alina would make her laugh. We're sitting in the kitchen, and we hear her laughing gaily in the room. Even the eldest is not holding back, she's smiling. Even Alina's father is sitting in the kitchen, and I see his smile blooming. She couldn't walk. She was always jumping, running. Such a restless child. She had to tell me things, do things, run around all the time. That was how she was. Tragedy of Alina brought the family of Valentina Shakirova even closer together. The eldest daughter is even now accompanied by her father to martial arts section she attends. The girl does not like it, but in her heart she most likely understands why it happens. The death of her child made Valentina reconsider some of her views on life, on children, and on the family. It feels like we don't pay enough attention to our children. We need more, Valentina Shakirova says. We adults, as always, have some problems. We have work. And children, they may want more attention, but do not receive. Maybe it wouldn't be like this. The trial of a suspect in the murder of a 9-year-old schoolgirl should begin soon. While investigations were underway, the forensic examinations were underway. The court extended his time in custody in the detention center, but in the near future the criminal case will be transferred to the prosecutor of the Irkutsk region, which must approve the indictment, after which the Irkutsk Regional Court will begin consideration of the criminal case on the merits. Lawyers comment. The article, under which the main suspect in the Alina Shakirova murder case is accused, provides for the death penalty, but in practice this type of punishment has not been applied in the Russian Federation for more than 20 years. The maximum penalty is life imprisonment. In court, we will insist that the perpetrator of Alina's murder be given the most severe punishment possible under the law. The Irkutsk Regional Court passed a sentence on Alina Shakirova's killer. The accused murderer was 45-year-old Alexei Komarov. The court imposed a 20-year sentence in a strict regime penal colony. In addition, the killer is required to pay $1 million each as compensation to the parents of the dead girl.